President Obama says he is focused on what is becoming a growing source of anger here in America, which is the outsourcing of American jobs. He gathered a number of CEOs at the White House yesterday, and he proposed tax incentives for companies who bring back jobs to the United States. Listen.
Right now, we're at a unique moment, inflection point, a period where we've got the opportunity for those jobs to come back. And the business leaders in this room, they're ahead of the curve. They recognize it.
Tim Bryan is the CEO of GalaxE Solutions. He met with President Obama yesterday, and we're back with Christine Romans as well. She's at CNN headquarters. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Bryan. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your company, GalaxE Solutions, and then what you thought of what the president said yesterday?
Well, good morning. Our firm does software development for the healthcare industry for large corporations, and we are excited about the president's involvement and recognition of the fact that the trend is that jobs are going to be coming back to the U.S. in technology, in our sector for sure, as well as others. And his highlighting this is going to continue that momentum, because what we're seeing is that the quality of the work being done inside the United States is superior to that being done offshore. And the recognition by the president and the administration of that will only highlight it and keep that trend moving.
Quality could be one issue, but ultimately, I think often, as you know better than me, sir, it's often about money. And when you take a look at the hourly manufacturing compensation costs, I can throw up a chart here. The U.S. is at the bottom of that list because it costs roughly $33 an hour. That's a compensation, and that includes things like benefits and insurance, et cetera. But at the top of that chart, those much smaller bars, well, that's China, and that's $2 an hour. And India, which is somewhere between $2 and $3 an hour. Ultimately, sir, isn't it really about, jobs are outsourced because there's cheap labor. And unless you're going to change that cheap labor and move it here to the United States, you're really never going to bring enough jobs back. Is that fair to say?
Well, it is about economics, but economics is in support of delivering something. And if what you're getting is substandard, it doesn't matter that the unit rate is low. I can tell you that in technology, the complexity of computer systems today requires proximity. We need people to be near the customers, where the businesses are, in order to build systems that are going to support build the systems that are going to support those businesses. And if you're paying a lower unit rate, but it's half a world away, what you're going to wind up with is a system that doesn't necessarily work the way it's supposed to. So based on that, it doesn't matter that the cost is low. What matters is that the quality isn't there. And I think that applies also to other businesses in manufacturing. One of the CEOs that attended the forum with the president yesterday was talking about the fact that the furniture being made in North Carolina is superior in quality to that being made in China. So even though from a price point there may be an advantage, from a quality standpoint, it is less relevant. So you're right. It is an economic. Go ahead.
I'm going to stop you there because we have to hit a short break, but I want to continue our conversation on the other side of the break. And I get what you're saying, which is money isn't everything. Quality has a huge correlation. On the other side, we're going to talk to Christine Romans. This is not the first time that a president has proposed keeping jobs here in America. We'll talk about what President Bush said back in 2004 and why those jobs didn't come back then. We're back right after this. We're back on this side of the break, joined again by CEO Tim Bryan. He's with GalaxE Solutions. Christine Romans at CNN Center is joining us as well. Christine, we had talked earlier today about a little bit of deja vu on this. 2004, President Bush was pitching the same thing. What happened then?
Well, he stood up and he said, look, we got to make sure that companies have an incentive to keep jobs here in this country or to bring those jobs back. And there was a big tax break for being able to take foreign profits and bring them back to the United States in the hopes that companies would hire with that that money. And years later, I mean, you look at the biggest companies that got the biggest tax breaks, they didn't hire in this country. In fact, they were down jobs in this country, and they were investing big abroad. So the reason why companies bring jobs home is not because a president asks them to. And sometimes even when you try to give tax breaks for this to reward this behavior, sometimes it doesn't even work. History has shown that. It's because they can make money. It's how they make money. Their responsibility is to their shareholders, not necessarily to the president of the United States. And when you look at, and Tim had some really good points here, when you look at technology, there are different parts of technology. I mean, he's probably very smart to try to be bringing jobs to Detroit because he can keep control of his product better there. But you look at something like the iPad or the iPhone, I mean, that's the Appleized world of technology where the innovation comes here and the production is on a campus someplace far, far away where a middle class is being built with those jobs there. And here the jobs are either inventing it, the high-paid skilled jobs in innovation, or the low-paid jobs in selling it and shipping it and driving it around the country. So it's a very interesting dynamic in technology and technology jobs.
So, Mr. Bryan, let me ask you a question, because you talked a lot about sort of quality is going to be the driver, and that's why the jobs will come back to the United States, because we're just doing it better. But and maybe when it comes to technology, as Christine says, that could be true, and maybe when it comes to furniture, specialized North Carolina furniture, that could be true. But there are a lot of other things that are equally good quality that are made overseas, that are outsourced, and people given the opportunity, like, doesn't the market basically say people will go ahead and pick what they think is, you know, the issue that's important to them, price, quality?
Yeah, look, those are absolutely the factors that are under consideration. This is a market shift, and it is based on quality. It's based on innovation. It's based on what can be delivered from the United States less expensively with a greater degree of quality. That's what it's about. In technology, things are changing. Complexity is driving work back to the United States. That's a fact. Our program of Outsource to Detroit, for example, is taking advantage of available Midwesterners who are coming back to work at GalaxE and other firms in downtown Detroit, and we're forming an IT hub there. That's a change in the marketplace, and we're competitive with a number of the offshore destinations. This isn't going on because of tax breaks or political decisions that are being made.
But
Those
Mr.
things
Bryan, are you the exception? Do you think?
You know,
Christine,
Christine, I'm going to.
If you're asking if I'm an exception, I think this conference and the number of business leaders there, companies like Intel, Ford, representatives from the United Steelworkers, representatives from the auto workers, all show that this trend is gaining momentum, and we're going to see more and more jobs coming back to the U.S. based on the quality of the work that we do and the fact that we can be more competitive.
Tim Bryan is the CEO of GalaxE Solutions. Nice to talk to you this morning. Appreciate that. And Christine Romans at CNN Center for us. Thank you.